and I give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Attaf, Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad of Algeria.
شكرا سيد الرئيس.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our delegation acknowledges to friendly Malta that it was correct in selecting today's topic. It is an important topic, considering the pivotal role of youth in confronting the current challenges in the Mediterranean region. Our region has not been safe from what other regions have witnessed in terms of crises and conflicts and tensions that continue to hold hostage their people's quest for peace, security, development, calm, and peaceful coexistence. It is enough here to mention the Libyan crisis, which has been ongoing and will be prolonged because of the different obstacles in the way of national reconciliation and institutional division, and the difficulty the country is facing in launching an inclusive and unified election. Add to this foreign interference, which can be considered the biggest obstacle in the face of a solution to the Libyan crisis. It is also enough to mention our people in the occupied Palestinian territories and the unjust aggression they have been subjected to for over half a year. This is simply a new chapter in Israel's continued and repeated attempt to eliminate one of the oldest crises and one of the oldest issues in our region and in our organization. The people of Palestine, the youth of Palestine today, do not have the right to dream of a safe life and a dignified life. They no longer have the right to aspire to an education. They no longer have the right to dream of building a future and building their country, which was taken from them. Thousands of them no longer have the right to grow up into young men and women because the hands of the Israeli occupation have persisted in reaping their lives as children and infants. The Mediterranean basin, which is the crossroads of the greatest civilizations in human history, has now become subject to many cross-border problems, and those are manifest in terrorist threats and related crime, be it organized crime or violent crime, not to mention the increased threat posed by climate change, which has become a part of daily life that can no longer be hidden or denied. Add to all these challenges the challenge of illegal migration in the Mediterranean, which still awaits from the countries of the region coordinated responses that are of the same importance and seriousness of this phenomenon, including a way to deal with this burden that is being put upon the countries of origin and transit and destination equally. These developments place the youth of the Mediterranean at the heart of the current problem. On the one side, they are the greatest victims of the security challenges, but on the other side, they are also an important key to resolving these challenges fully and correctly. Here we note the urgent need to develop and adopt a collective approach that will rise up to the level of our youth's expectations and ambition. It is an approach that Algeria is calling for in accordance with a renewed vision that responds to a set of urgent requirements. First of all, the entire region requires a developmental approach, because sustainable development is the only thing that is able to dissuade youth from the dangers of illegal migration, from terrorism, from radicalism, and from organized crime with its different forms and shapes. Second, the region needs a preventive approach that works on spreading a culture of peace and tolerance and coexistence, a culture that promotes dialogue and positive interaction among civilizations instead of sowing the seeds of division and causing clashes that lead to nothing. Thirdly, the region requires a collaborative approach, and this includes the need to give priority to the values of solidarity, of cooperation and partnership in a balanced way between the different countries of the Mediterranean, on both sides of the Mediterranean, so that they can overcome the challenges that cannot be overcome separately or through conflicting methods and policies. Fourthly, the region needs an approach that is based on international law and international resolutions, an approach that puts an end to the forcible occupation of the lands of others, especially in Palestine and the Western Sahara, an approach that would fundamentally end foreign interferences that the countries of the southern coast of the Mediterranean are being disproportionately affected by. Fifth, the region needs an approach where all parties commit to the principles of good neighborliness and giving due importance to mutual and shared interests. We see some behavior by some countries in our regional neighborhood that seek to drown the societies in our region with different kinds of drugs that they are producing and using as a lethal weapon against the youth of neighboring countries in the Mediterranean. These are the basic foundations and pillars of an approach that my country continues to call for. And we continue to pursue this approach through a regular draft resolution that we submit to the General Assembly on supporting peace and cooperation in the Mediterranean. Algeria has never spared an effort. It has never spared diplomatic efforts to give priority to the peaceful resolution of conflict and to push forward development, especially with our African brethren through the National Agency for Cooperation and Solidarity for the Development of Africa. Moreover, Algeria continues to participate in the development of African human resources, and we offer no less than 2,500 academic scholarships in the different fields of higher education and professional training. Here, Algeria hosts and supports the Pan-African University Institute of Water and Energy Science, including climate change, in cooperation with our German partners. This is an academy that is a successful example of North-South cooperation in the education and training of African youth. We remain convinced that the most important investment that we can make today is one that aims to invest in the greatest treasure of our region, namely the power of the youth, who are our greatest and most precious treasure. There is no other way to build the future that we seek as countries and peoples. A future that brings people together and does not exclude anyone. A future that unifies and does not separate. A future where all enjoy peace and security and prosperity with no exception and with no favoritism. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Attaf for his statement.